is planned to be out. So we are here to conduct the work session, and I appreciate everybody allowing me to facilitate my first meeting as a commissioner. We'll see whether I refer to this as a Tigard City Council meeting or not at any point during the day. We'll try to avoid that. The first item on the agenda is board and leadership communication. I am seeing, I don't know, Marnie, were you planning to be in this, or would you?
Is on her way.
Okay, would you prefer we defer the staff part then?
You could, because she should be here any minute, but I'm also prepared to give her leadership update if needed.
Okay, let's start. Commissioner Willie, are you in a position to start? We'll start online today. No.
No, I am absolutely not ready. So
okay, I can go. That gives you time.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. I intend to be with you all in the afternoon but I'm glad we have a virtual participation here. Last week was quite busy. And I think one of the topics probably is pertinent to the board and as well as Tanya, but Marnie, you can perhaps take notes and we can have a bit more discussion. Last week, I had a lot of our District 4 constituents. I had a meeting with a lot of them last week to sort of understand some of their trepidations and concerns around the land use reform bill at the state level for this legislative discussion. And it really informed my position on that bill and some of the concerns people have, and the treasure that exists in Washington County, and what role we can play as a board to have a bit more reimagining how we do economic development and collaborations and coalition building. So that was really good. I bring that up. Why? Because, this bill does speak to jobs and the opportunity of potentially facilitating that. But it is a land use reform, and perhaps, we need to have a bit more discussion. And then the amendment, there is a recent amendment, and I'd like this board to weigh in on that amendment as well. So I don't know if anybody saw the amendments, but it was submitted on Sunday night. So it was a quick turnaround to sort of review and weigh in. And obviously government, we were not in operation in terms of our staff side. So I couldn't really check in with the staffs, but for us, our government relations, I like to have an opportunity to discuss on that so that everybody knows where we are. And then last week, so that's constituents, Bill 1586, the new amendments, where is the county? What do we feel about land use reform, besides some of the concerns and the recommendations we have around the cost burden to the county and the administrative side? So that's one thing. The second thing I had last week was around discussion with businesses that are in Washington County, more particularly around the Hillsborough area and Beaverton. And these businesses are struggling in Washington County. And I think I appreciate the conversations, however dicey it was, that we had around declaring state of emergency for our communities that are impacted, both from what's happening at the federal level in terms of cutting that SNAP funding dollars, as well as the immigration rates that were happening in Washington County. And I'm really grateful for this moment and leaning in on those efforts. But I think we now need to talk about a different group that's also impacted, and that is the businesses in Washington County. And I'd like to sort of have a conversation about what's our approach to help small businesses and businesses in Washington County, sort of, and more particularly and more succinct, business relief funds and commitments for impacted businesses to stabilize. like, what is our effort to stabilize businesses that are impacted in Washington County? And then, so that's two conversations. And then I really enjoyed attending with you, Senator. Oh my goodness, I almost called you Senator, Commissioner Snyder. Commissioner Snyder, the Biotech Caucus and Life Science Leaders Receptions. I have about 10 meetings on the books about just relating to that. So it was a very well spent time. Worth the drive, the hour back and an hour to there that I did, and really appreciated and even learned a lot of efforts that are happening from Oregon to the very continent, Africa, that I was born in. So it was eye-opening, inspiring, and I really glad I attended. Lastly, I want to, last night, yesterday, we lost a giant in Oregon, and I would like to make a statement. And I have two prepared statements. One that could be a board statement, so that we are just reading this statement, or I could just make just a statement that comes from me on the dais, so that I'm not interrupting the flow there. And this is in regards to Senator Avale Gorley, who was a trailblazer in Oregon and was the first woman elected to the Oregon State Senate. And she passed away yesterday. And I would like to read a statement that says, "The Board of Washington County Commissioners mourns the passing of Avale Gorley, a pioneering public servant, educator, and an advocate whose leadership profoundly shaped the state of Oregon. Senator Gorley was a trailblazer, the first Black woman elected to the Oregon State Senate, and she dedicated her life to the advancing of equity, education, mental health, and justice for communities that had long been unheard. Her courage, passion, and commitment to public service created lasting change and opened doors for generations of leaders. We extend our deepest condolences to her family, friends, and all who were inspired by her work. Senator Gorley's legacy will continue to guide our values and strengthen our resolve to serve with integrity, inclusion, and purpose."
Commissioner Fye, there's a lot to unpack there, and things that you raised. I am certainly, I think when we get to the formal agenda review, which will be in a bit, maybe we can talk about making that statement as a board. Commissioner Willie, I'm looking at Commissioner Treese's face in the room, but I can't read yours quite as well. Are you supportive of reading that statement at some point during the meeting?
Why don't we discuss
During
it at the
business meeting?
formal?
That's fine. We can discuss it then. I was looking for a,
Yeah. I think that's an
closure.
appropriate time to
Okay.
discuss it.
Sounds good. Commissioner Willie, are you ready to go?
Yeah, I am. And just in continuing that conversation, I would like to see that statement before I weigh in on, plus or minus. So Nafisa, if you could make that available, and I'll pull that up on my computer and I'll read that, then I'll be able to make that statement. Okay.
Okay.
So last week after our work session, I had the Salmonberry Trail Foundation board meeting. And that's always good to hear the update of what's going on the trail and some opportunities we have for funding to start building trail in a variety of areas. I think what I probably should be focusing a little bit more is that we actually have started a very small portion of the trail in Wheeler, which is a little city on the coast. And they've been very supportive. So we've got a little bit of trail built there. And then from there, you head east, kind of north and east, you start coming up the canyon, and the canyon is going to be a beautiful part of the trail, but also very difficult to get that all taken care of. So anyway, those meetings are very entertaining for me. I like that. On Wednesday, I spoke on House Bill 4105, which is the sustainable harvest, and you all have a copy of my testimony, and we continue to work on getting that bill passed. On Thursday, I had COPAC as well as Northwest Act. Again, always interesting to hear what the coastal communities are doing, both on economic development. And then the Northwest Act, Stacy attended that in person on my behalf. We have a unified group on the Northwest Act talking about Highway 6 and the improvements there. So it's good that we have that. We're going to continue to formalize that, I think, with our communication with ODOT. So stay tuned for that. This week, yesterday, of course, I attended and tried to testify on Senate Bill 1586. Wasn't able to do that. There was a lot of people in the room, and evidently they chose those who had made the trek physically to the room. And I think it's important that we, in our communication from the commission, that we communicate factual information to dispel, bad information that's being communicated, some myths in this. This is all about job creation and job opportunity. I would disagree with Commissioner Fry's comment that this is a land use, because we've kind of gone through that whole process with the Grand Land Bargain way back when. This is about job opportunity and recognizing that not only Washington County, but our region is really suffering economically and certainly in jobs, with some of the highest unemployment in the country, but also jobs loss. I mean, there's just a number of things. So I think our messaging, from my standpoint, and encouraging the commission to do this as well, as we communicate a strong message, both written and tomorrow I understand Pam is going to go speak for us as I can't travel. And so Pam, thank you very much for stepping in on that. I appreciate that. I am trying to follow up with Clean Water Services for the day that I missed, the work day that I missed. So I'm trying to catch up on that. And then I have a check-in with the county auditor on Friday. So trying to continue to keep my meetings in place, and certainly doing all of them virtually. And I appreciate everybody's hard work to try and accommodate my situation right now. So thanks, everybody. And that's all I got.
Thank you for continuing to engage, Commissioner Willie, despite that. I really appreciate that. I think our whole team does. Commissioner Treese, would you like to go?
Thank you. On Tuesday evening, or actually last week, I attended both CPO 1 and CPO 7 meetings virtually. Those were both interesting meetings, and it continues to be discussion about the last meeting that's going to be held under the current structure. So just there's a lot of questions still out there that we need to pay attention to. On Wednesday morning, I had a WSI Executive Committee meeting. There are two key issues there. We are in a recruitment process. We're using Raftellus at WSI, so familiar faces around the table, and that's progressing well. The other piece that's interesting is that we're in early discussions about the possibility of combining both the Clackamas workforce approach as well as the more metropolitan workforce approach. Like I said, very early discussions. I'm going to be going to a meeting with Commissioner Schrader as well as the chair of the executive committee at WSI. So in these times of limited resources, we're all looking at ways that we can effectively address the issues in our region and work together. Friday was a busy day with lots of staff meetings, but also I attended a meeting regarding the agenda for the upcoming acre retreat. That agenda is being worked on right now, so I appreciate the work that's going on by Alicia and others there. On Friday, I had lunch with Portland Mayor Keith Wilson, and that meeting was really a follow-up to the meeting that Commissioner Willie had with Mayor Wilson, and it is about Portland needing more funding for homelessness. And I encouraged the Portland staff to talk to our staff in relationship to what available funds we might have. I think that there is a misconception about funding opportunities within Washington County. This week I'll be at the Hillsborough State of the City address, and Saturday we'll be at the Acre Retreat along with Commissioner Snyder. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is I did submit personal testimony regarding Senate Bill 1586. I made that testimony available to Government Relations. I will also share it with my fellow commissioners, but Government Relations does have it and it is on file with them. It was in support of Senate Bill 1586, and I will be going to Salem tomorrow morning to testify to fill the seat that Jerry cannot fill due to his schedule and the fact that he can't quite drive yet. So that's I noticed the shake of the head there. So that's my update.
Thank you. Very quickly, I attended the State of the Economy address last Thursday, and I bring that up because I think the content there was particularly informative around really what the reality that our entire regional economy is in. And that includes accepting the fact that Multnomah County and Portland in particular, which affects the rest of the state, has been very clearly in a recession since 2023. And the encouragement there was to embrace and accept and acknowledge that and move forward from that space instead of continuing to, have discussions about whether that's the reality or not. The data is pretty clear, particularly in Multnomah County and Portland. And on that front, there were challenges that came out of that event. I think really to policymakers and elected officials around whether we're serious about making some big moves to do something about that overall. And I think SB 1586 is a perfect example of one of those sorts of bigger moves and things that we can do. Commissioner Fai, I was struck by your description and concern from small and medium-sized businesses, and particularly as it relates to SB 1586, because frankly, the single biggest thing we could probably do right now to address that would be supporting that bill. So I bring that up because I think between the state of the economy, the feedback that was provided, and then I'm personally concerned about some of the testimony that's being provided on SB 1586 that sort of appears to be representative of Washington County's position in some ways. That's very concerning to me. So I'll move on to other things that I did in the last week. I had a Five Oaks museum briefing. Friday, I met with Clean Water Services staff on quick and doing my advisory help as the board member to help them with some of the details of that. I had a constituent meeting on Friday. I had a civil commitment briefing with County Council and Commissioner Treese, which was excellent. I had a prep meeting with the clerks for facilitating this meeting. And then on Monday, I visited with the St. Anthony Parish's action group, which we've had interaction with, I think, before. They have a forum coming up on April 18th, and they've asked me to attend this year, and I have accepted that. I think the elected official part will be from about 10 a.m. to noon. The event is longer, and they're focusing on both housing and immigration this time, with a lot of emphasis on just the impacts to immigrant and refugee communities. Tomorrow there's a WEA board meeting, and I have a King City City Council meeting. They do have a new city manager that has started in King City. So I'll be meeting him and the council or meeting him for the first time and meeting with the council tomorrow evening. Thursday is the Hillsborough State of the City. I plan to attend that. Friday, I have a discussion with our housing leaders about our overall community engagement strategy and my feedback to them around that. Saturday, we have the acre retreat, as Commissioner Treese spoke about. And then on Monday, I'll be working with some of the finance team on the audit RFP selection process and the kickoff meeting for that. I will be participating in that as a member of the audit committee.
If-
Thank you. Commissioner Fye.
Thank you, Commissioner. Two things I want to ask a question. Commissioner Pam Trees. Pam, could you tell me when you submitted your testimony? And then I have a follow-up question to the board.
Sunday night.
So since there's two positions here, does it make sense for the board to have Commissioner Snyder participate and make the board statement since you have your own positions? And we're not diluting, and this goes to the point you were making, Commissioner Snyder, just now, that we're mixing our own voice to the county's voice. So that's that board question. I don't think it's appropriate to have Commissioner Trees, who submitted her own testimony, now speak for the county as well. So I just want to put that out there. And then, so I'll wait to respond.
Yeah, so from my perspective, we can each have our own individual voice. And I frankly could have submitted individual testimony myself and would be in the same position. What I would say in observation, and I'm just going to take a little bit of prerogative as chair and facilitating the meeting here. If I look at what has occurred over the last, 36 hours on this front, what is concerning to me, and the reason I made my comments, is that it is really important to be presenting, if you're presenting your personal opinion, that not only do you make that clear, but you keep your testimony and the focus of your discussion and the thrust of your testimony on things related to your personal perspective, not on positions that are formally related to county business. And that's actually where my concern is. I think any of the four commissioners that are supportive of SB 1586 are fully capable of testifying, and I have no concern with Commissioner Treese doing that for those reasons. Commissioner Willie, did you have anything you wanted to share on that?
Let me respond to what you said before you jump in here. I would say that political posturing aside, if you are not centering that, the best thing, what's in the best interest for the county, is for you, Commissioner Snyder, to do that statement solely for what you said. Otherwise, you literally, if you go back and watch this video, you're fully contradicting yourself and fully contradicting what is in the best interest of this county. You made those statements, and then you're saying, I don't have problem for Commissioner Treese to do that. You're not having the best interest of Washington County. You're centering politics, just so you know. And then
Well,
I'll pause for Commissioner Willie to comment, and then we'll come back to the second point about the business.
The problem is with the content, not with who's
I'm
doing
not
the
arguing
speaking.
with you, Commissioner Snyder. I'm just dissecting the statements that you've made and the contradictions in it. You will have an opportunity to go back. I'm not debating you, just so you know.
Okay, well, my statement's about the content, so that's why that matters. Commissioner Willie, go ahead.
Yeah, well, we on a regular basis as a county take positions on legislative activity every year. And that's what we're precisely doing here. We have our very own senator for this area representing us with a bill that we believe is extremely important and certainly economic development wise. And it is up to us, it is our responsibility to support her in that action, and that is what we're doing. So in lieu of me not being able to testify yesterday in regards to representing our county commission. That's what Pam is going to be doing tomorrow. And I think it's very important that we take a position as a county commission in support of Senator Salmon's bill. So that's what we're doing. And I guess from my standpoint, I think the conversation that that you started, Commissioner Fye, is inappropriate for this venue right now. If you don't like what Commissioner Snyder is saying, you know, that's on you, and you certainly have that representative. You certainly have that opinion, but we're not going to debate that in this venue. This is inappropriate. So if we could move on, Chair, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you. Commissioner Fye, did you have another topic that you wanted to raise?
Oh, yeah. I highly respect Commissioner Willie, so I will yield to that advice and move on from that topic. I just wanted to point out the unfairness of that process in the political posturing. But moving on from that, the businesses I mentioned were not, the way I started out was the Senate bill, and then I moved on to another topic around the small businesses. I think what I've heard, and I apologize if this is my own, and I will say that out loud. It seemed to me the comments I've heard, the two were conflated. So I just want to clarify that what I meant in my comment around the businesses were businesses in Washington County that are struggling due to what's happening at the federal level. And what I was asking was specifically, what is our approach to helping them? And then what is there an opportunity? And this is where I was saying that it's a bit more perhaps helpful or directed to our county administrator, to the staff. What is our efforts around business relief funds? Could we have that conversation to entertain the idea of figuring out a business relief funds for vendors in Washington County that are impacted, and then commitments for impacted businesses to stabilize those efforts. So stabilization efforts and then business relief funds discussion is where I was going with that topic. And I would like to come back to that and have a discussion and entertain. And I would love for you all to lean in, because I'm just here to start the conversation. And then Tanya, sorry to make your work bit more added on something to your plate. I think Chair Harrington, if she were here, is if you add something on somebody's plate, what are you taking away? So I do put that on you to come back and tell us that story too, so that we're fully in on this.
I think the first step for that would be for you to, I think, connect with the county administrative officer directly and try to work through what those concepts or ideas may be, and then certainly try to work it onto a future agenda if that's warranted. County administrator, are you okay with that?
That's a wonderful advice. Thank you.
Yeah, I am very comfortable, of course, Commissioner Fye, always having conversations with you or any commissioner. I will just note that the county does not have any business relief program in place today. So I just want to make sure that is clear and transparent to the public. We did have the fortune during COVID to have received the federal dollars through the CARES Act and ARPA to provide small business relief grants at that point in time. That, to my knowledge, is the only time that the county has had funds available for this type of program, and happy to take this more offline, Commissioner Fye, and have a further discussion with you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. I will yield to that advice.
All right, so let's move to leadership communication. County Council, you ready to go?
I am, Commissioner. So just a couple of quick items. Thank you to you and Commissioner Trace for your excellent questions during our briefing on civil commitments on Friday. And then also thank you to Senior Assistant County Counsel Emma McMahon and our colleagues in Health and Human Services for joining that briefing. One other update for your board, exciting news, Ryan Hammond, our new housing attorney, has joined the office today as our newest Assistant County Counsel 2. So I intend to bring him down and introduce him to your board next week, and that's all I have for you today.
Awesome, thank you. Administrator.
Thank you. I apologize for being a few minutes late, but I had to help my son with an unexpected vehicle emergency, and I think he wishes his dad was there instead. But here we all are, and my kids made it to school on time, so that's what matters. So moving into the weather, the National Weather Service issued a weather advisory yesterday for potential snow this week, especially in higher elevations. There is a chance of snow accumulation on the valley floor Wednesday evening and into Thursday morning. The Weather Service is not very confident of where the valley floor accumulation could happen. And so really the upside of what this update means is that there could be freezing rain, changing conditions that impact roads. So just want to give a shout out to our emergency management teams, land use and transportation, sheriff's office, and supportive housing services. Just because I see him in the room right now, want to give a call out to Todd Watkins and his team and LUT, who are really ensuring that we have safety in our community 24/7. And I know he likes to be called out publicly. So he's maybe speaking into his chair, but it is good that you, Todd, under your leadership and your teams are recognized. Tax foreclosure. So this is work that, and a good news, is kind of hidden from the board. So we have each year the county handles tax foreclosures. Since July 2025, internal cross-departmental foreclosure working group consisting of facilities, ENT, and Health and Human Services staff have been actively engaging property owners in foreclosure proceedings. So these are properties that are occupied and going through the foreclosure process. The cross-departmental team works, I will say, tirelessly, connecting individuals with critical resources and successfully removing properties from foreclosures lists. So this could be getting individuals into other programs, sometimes connecting individuals with other family members to maybe create support systems around them. So this effort this year reduced the number of occupied homes at risk from 14 to 0.
Wow.
14 was the highest number, I believe, that we have seen in any notable memory. So there were some nervous days because evicting someone from a foreclosed house is something that we don't ever want to do. So just really appreciate the creativity and steadfastness of our cross-departmental team that has been working on this. Want to give you an update on an unfunded mandate that's impacting workload within assessment and taxation. This is related to 2025 House Bill 3940, which allows rural fire protection districts to assess taxes on larger portions of certain tax lots that receive fire protection services, coverage from the Oregon Department of Forestry. On surface space, one wouldn't think this actually has an impact on the county, but in fact it does. The project to implement this bill involves a manual process of analyzing all the tax lot details, updating databases, and adjusting acreages for approximately 1,300 accounts countywide. Between cartography, appraisal, and tax roll administration, we estimate a minimum of 700 staff hours will be required to complete these updates. So we will continue as staff to bring these unfunded mandates forward just for your awareness. Of course, since this is now law, we have to follow that law. And I just want to commend our ENT team for continuing to pursue the art of possible. That concludes my update.
I don't remember that coming up during was that one that was even on our radar screen as far as having during the long session, having an impact?
Not this significant of an
Okay.
impact.
Thank you. All right, let's move to the review of the formal agenda for the business meeting. And I know Commissioner Fye had raised one topic, but let's get through reviewing the agenda first, then we can modify or potentially consider modifying the agenda. So are there any concerns or questions on any parts of the agenda as proposed?
I have no concerns.
Okay. All right, Commissioner Fye, I trust that by now you've emailed Commissioner Willie and or the whole BCC with that draft statement?
Yes, I did, whatever Commissioner Willie wants, he gets, so I sent it to you, commissioners, everyone, as well as the board. Commissioner Willie.
Yes, well, I didn't know this person, so I'm going to rely on your judgment on this, Nafisa, so I could support this statement.
Yeah, I wrote it in a way that was just factual. Yeah, thank you.
Right. Yeah, so I'm okay with this.
Commissioner Treese, any comment or concern?
I can support this statement. I just am feeling badly that we have not made similar statements in the past. So I just want to call that out.
Yeah, that does not mean that we didn't think similar things about
Yes.
others. Commissioner Fye, did you have an idea of when you thought you wanted to deliver that statement?
I thought after we do the Pledge of Allegiance, you could turn it.
Or board announcements.
Yeah, it could be during board announcements. That's sort of near the end of the meeting and doesn't seem like it's the right, at least to me, it doesn't feel like the right part of the cadence of the meeting, but
I'm happy
Yeah.
either
you
way.
okay with it after the Pledge of
Sure.
Allegiance? Okay. So we'll modify and add that in, and Commissioner Fye, you'll be ready to make that statement?
Yes, I could do that.
Yes, sorry. County Administrator?
Yeah, Commissioner Snyder, I would just ask that the clerk add this statement to the packet so that it is publicly available.
Good idea. I'm okay with that.
Thank you. Great suggestion. All right, is there anything else on the formal agenda review? Otherwise, it is 9:40 and we will reconvene in the business meeting mission hall. What do we call that space?
Auditorium.
The auditorium at 10 a.m.
Hero
Thank
and
you.
Tiger.
We
We are
heard
in
that
recess.
online.
Good.
I'm not responding to that. Thank
Good
you all.
one.
Okay.